Hey guys, this is the Ranger, and welcome to the Dota 2 how-to guide for playing Bleep Bloop Bleep Bleep Blue Blue, or Wisp as some people say, slash IO as they actually changed it to, but it's Wisp all the way. So, Wisp is actually a ranged strength support hero, which is really odd considering most supports are int based or there are a couple agi based, but to have a strength based support is actually one of the rarer things. Now, Io is an awkward one. He's mainly based on cooperation with your team, so he's really high skill cap level and you need to be working with your team a lot, so it's advisable not to pick him if you're solo queuing in that unless you're going to be able to coordinate with your team, which is pretty damn hard.
We may save the bottom tower yet.
Abilities wise, we're gonna skip his stats because I'm a little lazy, but abilities wise, so first ability is Tether. This creates a link between you and the target ally. Now, you've got a cast range of 1800, and if you're more than 700 units away, you will pull yourself to the target, and it'll pull you to a distance of 300 away from them. If you move then up to a 900 radius away from them, the tether will break. Tether will last 12 seconds, and any enemies that pass through the link between you have their move and attack speed slowed by 100%. This will bring it down to the lowest it possibly can be. The slow duration will last 0.75 to 2.5 seconds depending on rank, and it gives you a bonus, well, you and your ally as far as I'm aware, a bonus move speed of 17%. This has a 12-second cooldown and a 40 mana cost. Tether is actually really good because if a unit is tethered to you, or you're tethered to a unit, when you use your ultimate or your other skill overcharge, it will grant them the ability as well essentially. So overcharge will give them the benefits and relocate will take them with you where you teleport. Now, when you're tethered as well, if you heal yourself, you will heal them for additional. So if you heal yourself or restore mana, they get 1.5 times that amount given to them as well, which means that basically Io's a really unique support in the way of your carry won't want to be the one using a tango. You'll want to tether to them and use the tango for them because it gives you the capability that you're now healing yourself and them for more than the tango usually would heal them for. It's a big ability that lets you support really well early game for keeping people alive. Tether can be broken just by pressing Q again as well, it's worth noting that. Now his second ability is Spirits. This creates a ring of spirits around Wisp. It summons, I can't remember how many. It summons, god damn, I really don't remember. It summons a bunch around him. It's a bad guide. I honest to god cannot remember how many spirits it summons a bunch around him. They circle around him. You can use D or F to expand the spirit radius out or bring it back inwards. When they pass through a creep, it will deal damage to it. If it hits a hero, it will explode, dealing damage to the hero and everything in a 300 AoE radius. Spirits will last 19 seconds and will deal 25 to 100 damage to heroes and 8 to 26 damage to non-heroes. The ability has a 20 to 14 second cooldown and 120 to 150 mana cost. So it's worth noting that a spirit will spin round you every 2.3 seconds, so regardless of distance, that means when they're out further they actually move faster than when they're in small because it travels at a larger distance, but yeah. Heroes will also provide vision very briefly for any heroes they collide with. So when it explodes on hitting a hero, it'll provide vision in that area for a little bit. Your third ability is Overcharge. This basically grants bonus attack speed of 40 to 70, reduces incoming damage, there we go, by 5 to 20%, and it drains 4.5% of your current health and mana every second. Now, this is a really good ability for using if you're tethered because your ally, as I said, will gain that buff. So your ally will gain the bonus attack speed and incoming damage reduction, but they will not have HP and mana drained, which means that it's huge for buffing your carry's damage early game if you're going to go on someone. So, final ability, his ultimate is Relocate. This is a global teleport. Basically, you can tether to an ally and teleport both of you anywhere on the map. There is a 2.5 to 2 second delay before you teleport, and you will go back to your original location 12 seconds after teleporting. This means you can teleport to another lane, gank, and then go back to your original lane 12 seconds later quite happily. If you break the tether, you can leave your friend at that location. For example, if you needed to TP him somewhere and you want to leave him there because he wants to stay there for farming purposes or something, like you TP with your carry to an empty lane, you want to leave him there to farm, okay, you can just break the tether, it won't take him back. This also does mean that you can teleport to a fountain and gives you 12 seconds of fountain, which means you're going to be on full health, and then you can go back to lane with your newly full health carry in that. So basically, if you're interrupted in the casting delay, then relocate will be cancelled, but you can't actually cancel it if you've already cast it. So the delay before teleporting cannot be cancelled, but if you are mid-cast, it still can be, because there's a slight delay on casting. Now, you can actually relocate and then tether to an ally in that lane and just bring them back to you. They don't have to have been teleported first or anything. If you are tethered to someone, they will go with you when you relocate. This ability has a 90 to 60 second cooldown and costs 100 mana. Now, beyond abilities wise, let's look at items. So, starting items, it's generally good since you're a very hard support to pick up the courier, and you can grab some wards. Get some tangos, a clarity, a salve, and a couple ironwood branches if you can afford them. I think you can based on 6.79's gold, but I'm not 100% sure. Early game you're going to be wanting to go into brown boots and work on getting arcane boots, getting an Urn of Shadows, because the mana regen and the fact that you are a very gank heavy hero means that you should be able to pick up stacks on that fairly easily. And getting a mechanism as well, because you've got a fairly easy way to get very close into the middle of fights, and you can do quite a bit of damage if you get into the middle of fights as well. So, situational items, drums can be good if you're sort of needing the bonus speed when you're ganking, because let's say you've got to carry like, I'm trying to think, well, Faceless Void doesn't normally buy Yasha in that, or you've got someone like a Necro carry. Necro's not the best ganker carry, but hey, you're going to need the extra move speed to be able to catch people. A Pipe of Insight can be very good if their team's magic heavy, and a Force Staff can be very good for sort of pushing your heroes closer in ganks. Like if you TP in, you can then Force Staff your hero a lot closer to start beating on them already. Naturally, as support, you're going to be wanting to buy sentries and observer wards throughout the whole game, and dewarding and keeping vision of the map for your team. Very much luxury item wise, you can look towards getting a Heart of Tarrasque and a Scythe of Vice. So Heart of Tarrasque is actually good for you because you are a strength based hero, and with overcharge it cancels out the health drain really. Which means that you can actually stay with a good amount of health if you're not taking damage, that is, while overcharging. Now, Scythe of Vice again, you're very gank heavy. If you've got enough gold, you can basically TP in and piggy them. I was going to say sheep them, but it's actually a pig, isn't it, on that one, so, and piggy them, we'll say. So that is basically really luxury items. Situationally, it really depends on what you need as to what you should get at what point. Like, if your team's really behind, then, you know, like, if your team's behind and you're taking a lot of magic damage because they've got a lot of burst, then go for rushing pipe and that, but it depends on the game. Now, ability build-wise, so taking tether at 1, always a really good thing, but going beyond this, not really worthwhile at all, because tether's max distance doesn't actually change. Like, the only thing that changes around tether is, what is it? Oh yeah, the slow duration goes up. But it's not really worth it for the slow duration in all fairness, because it goes up from basically 1 second to 2 seconds, which, ranking that for an extra 1 second of slow, not worth it in my opinion. So basically look towards taking tether at 1, 23, 24 and 25, because beyond the slow duration nothing changes about it. So look towards taking spirits at 2, 3, 5, and 7 because this is your biggest source of damage and you can actually hit a lot. Like, you can nuke down heroes very quickly if they jump on you and that, because if you pop spirits, it brings it in a very small circle around you. If they're a melee hero, they're gonna take a huge amount of damage very quickly from that. So work on getting overcharge at 4, 8, 9, and 10, your ult whenever possible, and stats sorta in between. This is because, well, you know, that's how you want to build. Leave tether to the end, as I said, because slow duration's not really worth it. Overcharge gives your carry the ability to do a lot more damage. Spirits is your huge source of damage, and relocate is really a necessary skill from 6 because you can then just jump around the map whenever and gank all the time. General gameplay wise, you're probably going to want to head out to the rune spot right at the start and actually wait for rune to spawn, ward, and take rune if it's at there. If it's not, ping that it's at the other rune spot to let your team know. Now, you're not actually an aggressive hero early on, you're a hero that's really good for keeping people alive. If you've got another support in your lane that's got good stun, and if your carry's got good stun, you can go very aggressive though on Wisp because spirits will do a lot of damage, so depending on the lane, if you've got quite a passive safe lane farming lane, then go for it. If you've got someone like a Crystal Maiden and a Chaos Knight, then really go for getting those early game kills with spirits and tether slow and that. Now, beyond that, looking towards stacking and pulling, you're going to want to stack and pull if you can. It's less of an issue in 6.79 because it's slightly harder to do, but you're really going to want to stack the small camp before you pull. Single pull on small camp is really bad, so avoid doing that, but if you can get a stack off, which isn't actually that hard, then you can actually pull and wipe your creep wave and kill off the camp, so it's actually quite good. Now, into the mid game, or well, I say mid game, sort of level 6 onwards from you as mid game, you're going to be wanting to jump around the map with your carry. You need to coordinate this with them because they need to have their abilities up and they need to have mana, and then they can just jump around the map with you and gank. You're also going to need to coordinate with the other lanes, let them know that you're going to be going in for the gank and everything, but if you can get all of this coordination, you should find really easy kills on your carry with Io. Now, this is why I said avoid picking him in PUBG games, because as I said, you're going to need to coordinate with your carry, you're going to need to coordinate with the lane you're going to. You need your team to be working together fairly well to actually pull off Wisp ganks effectively, which it's hard in PUBG games when you don't know any of the people. It can happen, but it's not easy. Now, into the late game, you actually kind of fall off quite a bit as Wisp in my opinion, because you're going to just be overcharging your carry, popping spirits and tether, and that's about all you're going to be doing. Now, you do have the capability to relocate your carry out if you need to get them out. You can relocate someone else in the fight out if you need to get them out to the fountain and that to try and keep them alive. And you do have the capability that you can still look for ganks in their jungle, in their lanes and that if they've got a hero out of position with relocate. So into the late game, you're still wanting to look to find solo heroes and go on them with your carry or with someone that's got good enough kill potential that you'll be able to actually get the kill. Now, beyond that, that's really all you're actually there for, is the overcharge and the tether to keep people alive with heal and that. So, I hope you guys have actually enjoyed this guide and found some useful info here. It's a bit quick, it's a bit all over the place because I don't really play Wisp that much. I don't see him played that much. I know how he works and that, but it's kind of too hard to coordinate in PUBG games, which is what I play for the most part. And I don't play that role in actual games that I play with my team, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this and found some useful info here. If you have, please remember, leave a like. If you've got anything to say, leave a comment, and for more Dota 2 videos and guides, then subscribe to my channel. Hope you all have a great day, and I will see you next time.